Greetings, salutations, and welcome to SportsLook, the sports television program for the high plains of West Texas and eastern New Mexico. I'm your host, Doc Elder, and just like Trevor Noah at the Grammys, I get to host my own show. We may not have quite the performances that they had at the Grammys, but I've got some pretty cool performances. I'm going to have Art Briles, the new head football coach at Eastern. I'm going to have Mo Austin. He's the point guard from the Greyhound men's basketball team. I'm going to finish up with an overtime, but as always, I'll start out with an Eastern recap. Greyhound ladies on Saturday finished up a brutal four-game stretch where they played four nationally ranked teams. They lost all four of them, but they still sit in fourth place in the conference. For Greyhound baseball, they started out their season with a victory against Texas A&M Kingsville. Unfortunately, they dropped the next two contests. They're 1-2. For the Greyhound softball team, they opened up the season 2-0 before losing to Emporia State. They're now 2-1. And Greyhound track and field had an indoor meet in Albuquerque, and a young man by the name of Andre Smeichel is now in the record books. He holds the record for the longest throw in the shot put. Well, that has been your Eastern recap, so we'll clear this out and we'll bring in Art Briles right now. Welcome back to SportsLook, and a privilege to bring to the set of SportsLook the new head football coach at Eastern New Mexico University, Art Briles. And Coach, welcome to SportsLook.
Appreciate it, Doc. It's my second interview with you in about the last 4 days, so we're getting to know each other pretty quickly.
Absolutely, and one thing that I learned is that you grew up in the town of Briles, Texas, and you actually had your first coaching job all not that far from here in Sundown, Texas.
That's true. You know, it's actually, when you say rural Texas, everybody thinks, R-U-R-A-L, but it's actually rural Texas, R-U-L-E, little bitty town. My wife and I are both from there. I graduated with like 24 in the class, and she probably had 25 or 6. She's a year behind me. And then when I was finishing up at Tech, I went to the University of Houston, finished up my last 2 years at Texas Tech. I hustled and got out in 5. But I actually started coaching at Sundown before I even graduated, because the wife of the head coach was in one of my classes, and they're saying, we're looking for a coach. Anybody want to coach? And I said, I'll do it. And so I started out at Sundown and went from there to Sweetwater.
Coach, I read your bio, and I realized that you had taken your team to the state championship game. I think it was in '73, and played against a couple of guys that would go on to be pretty good football players.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. We had a pretty good team in high school. My dad was actually my coach, and we played Big Sandy in the state championship game. They actually set a state record for like consecutive wins through the mid-'70s there. But they had Lovie Smith, who ended up being the head coach of Chicago and Houston Texans, I guess, and went to Tulsa and played football. And a guy named David Overstreet, who was a really good player at OU, All-American. Might have won the Heisman, I don't know, but if he didn't, he was close. But really the best player on the team was a guy named Bobby Mitchell, who, you'd have to really know high school football to know about him, but he was about 6'3", probably weighed 215, running back, state champion in the hurdles, and he was kind of their guy, believe it or not, over Lovie and over David Overstreet. But yeah, we thought we were pretty good till we ran up against them, and that's the way it is in every walk of life. There's always somebody better, and we found our better.
Well, I hadn't realized until I read your bio that your dad was actually a coach, so it seems like it was in your blood. Did you ever realistically think about something else for a career, or did you always know you wanted to be a coach?
Honestly, it was, I had to move in high school and do all that stuff, dad coaching, and so I didn't really grow up dreaming to be a coach, because when you're in a coach's family, you see the trials and tribulations, the happiness and the valleys, that your parents go through, and your father, if he's a coach. But to answer your question, when I was growing up, really, 18, 19, that range, I kind of want to be, back then, it's called a disc jockey, because I love music, And, I just wanted to always do that and kind of went away from that. Then I thought maybe an FBI agent. It seemed adventuresome, and that kind of faded away. Actually, Jan and I, my wife, got married in '78. And, so she was kind of against the disc jockey deal because, thought everybody know when I was home and wasn't. But I mean, coaching, it's I mean, I wonder where he's at, So anyway, but it worked out, it's just, I always kind of had a knack for it, even when I was playing football at the University of Houston. I was now, I wasn't a great player, just a good player, did my job, didn't cause any trouble. But I was always able to kind of help other guys, be better. So I was a really good teammate and could kind of inspire in ways that maybe others couldn't.
And that had to be cool to have played for the University of Houston, and then lo and behold, one day you get to be the head coach at Houston.
It's, it's kind of the old deal, you don't get a second chance to make a first impression, So if I'd been a, troublemaker back in the mid-'70s, then I'd never got hired in 2002. It's because the same people, that love the University of Houston, their sons, daughters, nieces, nephews, they're in control then. And, fortunately, I got a chance to go in there and get it. It wasn't a great job. Really, nobody wanted it. But, I was coming off of being assistant at Texas Tech for 3 years. And
coached a kid named Wes Welker, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to pull my arm, I actually recruited him, So I was the one that went and got him because I was just so intrigued by him. I mean, he played quarterback, he played running back, he played receiver, he punted, he kicked off, he returned punts, returned kicked, and played safety on defense. I'm thinking, he can do everything, and he really could. Now, if he walked through the room, you'd say, I don't know where the gymnastics team is, but I think they're back over there, because he really doesn't look like an NFL All-Pro or a great college football player, but that just shows you, it's a lot about what's on the inside, and he had everything, had every intangible.
And ironically enough, it was at Houston you met a guy named Kevin Feit who would be instrumental in getting you the head job here.
Yeah, he was awesome, because he was compliance guy there. And if you know about compliance, you always got some athletes that are not passing, and they need help. And, you always got the rules that you're having to look at as a coach and make sure you're doing the right thing at the right time. And Kevin was just so level-headed. I mean, he was a very understanding, very passionate person, about athletics and doing his job correctly. And, I had no idea, I'd end up 20 years later here with him, but, the Lord's got a plan, and all you can do is do your best and follow it. So I feel extremely blessed to be at Eastern. It's been just a complete pleasure ever since myself and our staff has been here the last 6 weeks, and we're excited about the guys on campus. Got some good guys we brought in, and, just ready to put a great product on the field for Eastern New Mexico.
I was really impressed because, as you alluded to earlier, I had a chance to talk to you on radio, and I was really impressed with the simplicity of your approach. It's just you want to put guys in a position to win.
Well, it's not rocket science, it's or science. It's, I mean, you put a guy that's faster than that guy, and then you get him the ball. Or you put a guy that's bigger and more and stronger than that guy, and you run behind him. So our philosophy has always been, it's personnel over scheme. Everybody's always wants to be scheme. Here's what I can do. Get your guys in the position to be successful, and then let them go. And if you don't do that as a coach, I think then you're cheating the player. What you don't want to do is coach talent down. If a guy's talented, keep it simple for him, let him play. And don't make him think, and don't slow him down and make him normal, because it's easy to be normal. And we've always done it that way. We've always adapted to our personnel, and we'll do the same thing here. So I'm anxious to, kind of see how we match up with other teams throughout the Lone Star Conference, and then we'll adjust what we, can do once we figure out how our talent level matches up.
Obviously, moving forward, it might change, but there's some coaches that I have a specific position, I'm going to recruit to that position. And others, just I want to get the best athletes, and we'll go from there. So What's your approach to recruiting?
Well, I mean, I think it's both. I mean, I really do. I mean, you like parameters on positions, offensively and defensively. You know, quarterbacks, it's a hard pick because there's so many things that go into being a really successful quarterback. You know, most of it's mental. You know, I mean, what I've always told them, the most important ability is predictability. You know, I got to know what you're going to do before you do it. And for that to happen, I got to coach them well enough to see the same things that I see. And, you know, so that's a crucial hit. And then, you know, everything else is a little more specific, you know, position-wise with what you're looking for. But, you know, I'll take a fast guy over a big guy at receiver if he can really scoot and get open, you know. So it's hard to tackle what you can't touch, you know. So we'll try to put speed on the field.
Well, Coach, amazingly enough, we've run out of time here. So I just want to say it's an honor to have you here. I can't wait to see you in action next August against Highlands.
Thank you, Doc. It's my pleasure. It really is.
All right, well, that is going to wrap up our first interview segment. So what we'll do is we'll clear this out and we'll bring in Mo Austin from Greyhound Basketball right now. Welcome back to SportsLook, and we bring back to the set of SportsLook the point guard for the #1 team in the Lone Star Conference men's basketball standings, Mo Austin. And Mo, welcome back to SportsLook.
Thank you. Glad to be back.
Well, for people who may not have seen your first episode, let's ask you the same question I did last year. Where are you from, and what was the process that got you here to Eastern?
I'm from Pueblo, Colorado, and it was basically the faith Coach Vo had in me to bring me here. He recruited me kind of late in May because he was transitioning from UCCS to here. So it was kind of a late recruitment, but it was definitely his faith and the most trust he had in me out of all the coaches who recruited me.
And was basketball your only sport growing up, or did you play other sports and just basketball clearly became your best sport?
I played a lot of sports growing up. I played soccer, baseball, football, track, and basketball. But throughout time, I slowly started let go soccer, baseball. I did track and football in middle school and track in high school. But then, you know, I just went back to my roots, and I always loved basketball. And I knew if I wanted to go collegiate with it, I got to really focus on it and hone in on it.
And it may be difficult to put into words, but what is it about basketball that makes it so special?
It was just a love for it. My dad used to do it, and I have a whole lot of family members who did it, especially in my immediate circle. So it was just the love, and you know, I always find joy in it. A lot of my friends do it, and I do it. You know, it's like a thing I can go to get space if I'm going through any trouble.
So you are the point guard for the Greyhound basketball team. Were you the point guard in high school as well?
Yeah, instead of my senior year. My senior year, we was small, so I did the three through the one. But then throughout my whole life, I've been the point guard, shooting guard. And so it wasn't a bad transition to college, so I played all my life.
If you had to say there's one essential skill that a good point guard has to have, what would it be? Or is every successful point guard maybe a little bit different?
I would definitely say mentality. You know, you run the show. You're like the quarterback of the football field. You know, you say the plays. You're an extension of the coach on the court. So you got to know every play. You got to know different matchups, who to go with who, and you basically have to have a mindset of like next play. You're going to make mistakes and always stay positive. Coach Cam and I like to say good cop, bad cop. You know, the coach is going to be the bad cop. I got to be the good cop. So even though I'm frustrated, no matter what, got to be positive. Next play mentality.
I imagine that in your successful career so far, you've had to watch a lot of film. So when you watch film of the next team that you're going to play, what do you look for?
Different tendencies, you know, how they guard, especially how they guard and how they're going to, what we think. We kind of got to assume because we play different defense than everybody. We switch and we people think it's a zone, but it's a man. We just guard our area. So definitely what people like to do with switching teams and how they like to scheme their offense, really focus on their offense. Do they post up guards? Do they rotate? What's their offense like and out of bounds? Stuff like that.
And in terms of the defense that they're going to throw against you, without giving too much away in case somebody's watching this that you're going to play down the line, what do you look for and say, I can exploit that?
Definitely how they guard Jose in the post. You know, if they're going to double from the baseline, if they're going to double from up top, where can we flash? Where can we go? How can we get Jose the ball? You know, because he's kind of our offense, and we like to play throughout him. He makes our job easier. So definitely that, and how they go and guard on-ball screens. We like to set screens. So are they going to go over? Are they going just knowing different personnel and how they're going to guard us?
Last year, you came off the bench to begin the year because of injuries. You got a chance to start a lot of games, and I had to remind myself last year, this kid's not a redshirt freshman. This kid's a true freshman. So what allowed you to be able to start on a team that was good enough to go to the Lone Star Conference tournament?
I definitely have to give a lot of credit to my teammates in that aspect. We know when Cooper went out and I gave him the opportunity, Rio definitely helped me step up, and it was Cougar, mainly our two seniors last year. They definitely opened my eyes because they've been here the longest and they played the longest basketball. So they showed me different things, and Coach Cam helped me through it. You know, coming in as a freshman, I had to mature a lot faster than a lot of other freshmen. So definitely my teammates helping me through and different barriers that I had to conquer.
Well, this year you guys lost your first game of the season. You've only lost 2 games since then. And what's been the key to the success you've had this year?
You know, just learning off of those losses. We like to don't think of losses as bad, but just a gift, what we can learn from those. So after that first loss, it was definitely free throws and, you know, just staying together throughout this whole time. That's what it really comes down to. We lost Trey throughout the season. We played a game without Jose, and those are 2 big pieces. So it's just mainly staying together. We're not going to go undefeated. You know, even the best teams don't go undefeated. So we knew that, and we knew take the wins and learn from it. Learn from your wins and learn from your losses. That's what Coach Vogel tried to say. And find our 7. Never get too high, never get too low. We went on that win streak, but we never got too high, I would say. We always stayed, you know, focused and locked in no matter who we was playing, and that was a big thing to our success.
Well, you're on a new win streak now. You had 2 games last week at the Steve Loy Family Foundation Arena. We had a crew out filming those games. We've got a highlight reel, so we're going to cue it up, and please walk us through what you see on the highlights there.
Okay. Yeah, like I was saying, just a backdoor feed Jose. We can just find my spots. Fast break, we're one of the best teams in the transition, so we just get out. Cooper has the trust in that chemistry to throw it up. Finding open spots, we can just exploit that, and that's what we like to focus on, just finding open spots. Transition, always like to get on the break.
Yep, good anticipation on your part. Now we're playing UT Tyler here.
This one I had to talk to Coach Dan. He was like, just shoot the mid-range. Just shoot it. They're backed off. Just have faith in it. I have confidence. So he gave me that confidence to shoot those mid-ranges in this game. Then like this one, just transition. Get out. We like to get out, and I feel like that's a big part of our game is transition. Using Jose again. Just like to use him in different scenarios and different positions. Gives us better shots.
And you switched over to the right hand on that shot.
Yeah.
Another mid-range.
Mm-hmm. This one's transition. I saw he went over, so we work on that move a lot in workout, so I just have faith in that move.
Yep, you were definitely feeling it on Saturday.
Yeah. A lot of props to Coach Daniels. He helped me through that.
And the all-important free throws.
Oh, tell me about it. We struggled against DBU, so we knew we had to lock in against UT Tyler. That was going to put them away.
Those are the 2 that sealed the deal. Okay, here's the play.
Yeah, that play was absolutely crazy. And we messed up on all aspects of that play. When I tell you, we ran that play so bad, but it worked out. Austin was supposed to, Kobe went, and I think it was Zay, but Austin was supposed to wait. He went too soon. And I couldn't see Austin. So I had to look up at the board. I was like, okay, he's there. I just got to throw it. And we work on that pass all the time in practice, well, I do with Brandon. And so I was just anticipation, and we just anticipated it. Austin makes an absolute great catch. gives it to Cooper. And Cooper, before that, he said it, you give me the ball, I'm finna make it. And he called it. And I was like, all right, what gives you the ball? We'll give you opportunity. So I threw it. Austin gave it to him. I still think he lost the ball. He says he pump fakes, and he knocked down the shot. And that was big.
Yeah, I mean, that was the end of the Dallas Baptist game. They were alone in first place until that game. Now they're tied with you guys. So those are two quality wins for you.
Yeah, we knew that was for the number 1 seed, and our mind wasn't focused on getting the number 1 seed. It was really like focus on the game. We'll win and we'll let everything handle itself. And that was our main focus. We knew they pressed, and we was going in like, hey, let's handle this business and let's snag the number 1 seed from them.
And that's one thing that's really impressed me about you guys is there are clearly games on the schedule where you've been coming off a big win. You'd be forgiven for kind of, having an emotional letdown the next game. But you guys just approach every game like it's the national championship game.
Yeah, and that's kind of goes to Coach Vogel having that mentality. One day at a time. We like to say be 1-0. You could celebrate DVU, but Friday we're 1-0, and then Saturday we're trying to aim to be 1-0, and that's our mindset. Whoever we're playing, we're always fighting for that number 1 spot. So we treated UT Tyler like it was treating DVU and the Lubbock and the WTs, and we're treating every game the same, nothing different. We're not overlooking nobody.
Well, Mo, obviously the guys that get the accolades are usually the people that score the points, but they're usually unsung heroes, people that show up big in practice that make you work hard. So if you had to pick out one unsung hero on the team this year, who's the unsung hero?
Absolutely, Jaden Clark. I'll say Jaden. I think he played 1 game this year, but it's just him having the positive on the bench and shoot around him. No matter what, everything's a win. No matter what, he's like, keep shooting it. He has the most faith, and I think he's the best teammate that I personally played with. And no matter, he's not playing, but it's just the energy he brings, especially on away trips. He's just lifting us up, shoot it, have faith in us, and no matter what the position is, he's thinking it's a win. And that's what I love. I love his mentality. I'll say definitely he's the best teammate we have.
I've had a chance to get to know all of you guys. I've had a chance to broadcast virtually all of your games this year, and you've got a lot of really good personalities on the team. Who's the funniest guy on the Greyhound team?
Man, maybe Jose. Jose has his moments. Cooper Jackson, I'm tripping. It was Cooper. Sometimes he lets his ADHD win, and so sometimes it's a battle. But I'll say Cooper Jackson, just the stuff he does and the things he brings to the table. It's unreal. You won't believe it unless you see it.
I actually had a chance to hear him in a conversation with one of his teammates at Thanksgiving a year ago, and the guy was just phenomenal. It's like, if you ever get tired of basketball, you could be a stand-up comedian.
Oh, absolutely. Just the things he does and the things he says, it's like, wow, he really did that, or wow, he just really said that. And so he's definitely funny. He has a lot of those moments of like just holy, like, oh my gosh. And so I'd definitely say him. He's hilarious.
Well, Mo, we've talked a lot about you as an athlete. Let's talk a little bit about as a student. What's been your favorite class here at Eastern so far?
Counting the freshman year, I'll say macroeconomics, mainly because of the teacher. His name is Mr. Recruit, and he just made life easier, and he made me actually want to enjoy learning and learning different things about business. So I say definitely the teacher made me like that subject, macroeconomics. I'm probably not going to take it again, but I'll say that was my favorite class.
Well, Mo, congratulations. It's been a sensational season so far, but I know you guys aren't resting on your laurels, so let's hope you do win all the rest of your games.
Yes, sir. That's our main thing. Focus, replenish our bodies, and let's get ready for the next one.
All right. Well, thanks for being our guest, and best of luck the rest of the way.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
All right. Well, that's going to wrap up the interview segment of Sports Look. So what we'll do is we'll go to the set, and I'll finish up with an overtime right now. On Sunday, there is going to be a football game. It's going to be called the Super Bowl. It's going to be Super Bowl 60, which means it's been going on for a long time. I'm not sure if you're aware of it, but back in the day, the Super Bowl was not the Super Bowl that we know it today. It used to consist of a game that was, maybe kind of half, maybe 3/4 sold out. Tickets were pretty cheap. And one year they had the Tulane Marching Band as their halftime entertainment. I guarantee it's going to be much more of an extravaganza. Can't tell you who's going to win between the Seahawks and the Patriots, but it's going to be a very good football game. We'll give you a complete update next week. Well, that is going to wrap up in overtime, and that will wrap up an episode of SportsLook. I'd like to thank my two guests, Art Briles and Mo Austin. Had a floor crew with a veteran director. I had Ms. Jasmine once again. So for all of those aforementioned people, this is Doc Elder saying, so long.